Welcome to Secrets to Alignment with Savannah Schaefer. I am here to equip you with the belief and energy to make your dreams a reality. Take this time to fill your cup and align with the most vibrant version of you. Welcome back to the Secrets to Alignment podcast with your host, Savannah Schaefer. I am so happy that you are here today. So I'm recording this on Thursday, which is actually, usually I record on Mondays, but this week I kind of switched around my schedule a little bit. And by the time that you guys are hearing this will be this upcoming Monday. And I actually decided just about 30 minutes ago that I am going to be taking a week off of social media. So by the time that you guys are seeing this, I will have been like halfway through that. And I'm really excited for this. Honestly, I've been feeling this intuitive pull just to really take a moment to dive into where I am headed, where my business is going. I'm actually hitting a huge milestone in my business right now of 100K that I have made from coaching. And it's just a really monumental time for me right now. And I'm feeling this call just to recalibrate and decide where I am headed, who I am wanting to serve the most right now. I feel like I've gone through many different shifts throughout my coaching career. And right now I'm feeling a really big one. And it's been such an interesting process throughout it all. I feel like being an entrepreneur, you guys can see everything on social media of like hitting milestones and getting new clients and all of these different things happening. But there is so much that goes on behind the scenes that no one really knows of or thinks about or is aware of unless you are actually going through it yourself. And I feel like right now I'm just going through a really big, expansive process. And with that, so many things are kind of falling away. New things are being brought to me, opportunities, people, just connections are being made. And I'm just really, really excited for where my business is going and how it is growing. I'm also about to make a beautiful large investment into my business this upcoming month that I am very giddy about. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to make this one specific investment for about a year now, and I'm finally at the point where I am ready to do so. So big things are just happening over here, and I'm just really, really excited. I feel like my face like hurts from smiling so big because there's just so many things happening, but behind the scenes there has been a lot of emotional waves and just things that I have been going through. I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and just like a lot of things are shifting, and I'm wanting to just take some time for myself. And with that, I want to be a really good example for anyone who's watching this, anyone who's listening to this, anyone who owns a business on social media, anybody who is actually like showing up consistently, knowing that it's okay. It is totally okay to take time for yourself, to recalibrate, to really just take a moment, take a beat, and know that our businesses are not going anywhere. Our success is not going anywhere because we are taking time for ourselves. That doesn't mean that we will not be able to achieve the things that we desire. I'm doing this with so much intention and a lot of grace for myself during this time period, and I'm really excited for this. So you guys will be seeing me in the next couple of days on social media. If you're watching this live, I will be back on socials very, very soon. But right now, I'm just taking some time for me, taking some time to be present, taking some time to go inwards and just go through, expand throughout this process. Now, today's episode, I actually had a friend come to me, one of our listeners. He actually asked me to film an episode on optimizing energy and what my nighttime routine looks like. And so I decided to really create this entire layout based around these things. And I also wanted to include my morning routine as well, because I think that that's also part of this conversation. So first off, just a little disclaimer. I am not this like super high energy person 24/7. Like if you know me in real life, I'm definitely like a happy, smiley girl for sure, but I'm not always like super bubbly, super outgoing every single day. There is many days where I actually just want to turn inwards. I want to be more in peace. I just want to be in solitude. I just want to kind of pull back a little bit, and I feel like I'm kind of in that season right now actually, but I do not want to give off this impression that I'm like always this super bubbly, happy, energetic person. I would say 90% of the time I am, but the other like 10, maybe 20%, I do have my moments and I do just really need my time. So just know that the version that you guys get in these 20-minute episodes is really me being super intentional, but this is not who I am 24/7. So don't think that I have all the answers. Don't think that I know absolutely everything, but I may have some things that may support you in your journey of optimizing your energy and just starting to be a little bit more intentional with your morning routine and your nighttime routine. And I just wanted to give you guys some random tips and tricks and all the things that I do just to be at my best as often as I can be. So first and foremost, I will say that I try my best to have good boundaries around caffeine intake and not relying on external substances to help me feel the way that I would desire to feel. So for example, like I do not like to have any caffeine consistently. Like I will not have coffee consistently. I will not take pre-workout consistently. I will not do energy drinks consistently. I'm very intentional about not relying on things. So with that being said, I will make sure that like I love caffeine. Like I do enjoy having a little bit of like that elevated buzz-like feeling, but I'm just intentional not to rely on it, and I'm intentional not to do it every single day because I don't want my body getting used to me having to have something in order to feel good. So for example, like I will have coffee 2, maybe 3 times a week, and then I'll maybe take pre-workout 1 time a week or not at all. And I do this again intentionally because I just don't want to rely on anything. So there's no like outside sources that are necessarily giving me energy. I will say that some weeks differ. Some weeks I am having a little bit more caffeine. Some weeks I'm not really having as much, but I am just trying to be intentional about not intaking caffeine multiple days in a row. That's like a big one for me. I also really prioritize what I put into my body. So I'm very intentional about the foods that I eat. I really don't eat much processed foods at all. We maybe eat out 1 or 2 times a week. I would say that I eat out personally for breakfast 1 time a week, every single week on Thursdays. I typically will go grab an avocado toast at Earth Cafe. And then any other days of the week, we typically are eating in for every single one of our meals. If we do go out, it's maybe 1 time for like a lunch date or a dinner date or whatever. Like we just grabbed sushi the other night, but that's really the only meal that we've had out this week besides my avocado toast that I had this morning. So we're very intentional about how we feed our body, how we fuel our body. And I really try to be the best that I can with not giving myself processed foods. So for example, with like all of the food that we buy, I typically opt for the more like organic options. I opt for whole grain. Like I always opt for the highest quality of foods that we intake. And I also limit how much dairy I have as well. So I'm really, really intentional about just what is going in my body so that my body doesn't have to spend a lot of energy processing what it is intaking. I also will do a high protein breakfast. So typically in the mornings, I will do Dave Killer's bread, and then I will do some plant-based butter. I will do eggs, and then that's pretty much it. And then sometimes I'll do a protein shake. And my protein is also very clean as well. So I'm just very intentional about like the foods that I'm intaking. And then at lunchtime, I will always have like something that's like chicken and maybe some noodles. Noodles is probably the worst thing that's in my diet right now. Like having a little bit too much of pasta. I just love pasta a lot. I think that pasta is probably the most quote unquote processed or like packaged good that I eat. But other than that, everything else is pretty clean. For dinners, I'm always having a protein, a carb, and then a vegetable. I also try my best to snack on fruits a lot. So I always have like grapes on hand. We'll have raspberries. I always have a bunch of different options for fruits that I can snack on something that's not going to be like high in sugars or hard for my body to process. And the next thing also is I'm very consistent with my meal times. So I typically am always eating at 9:30 a.m. Then I'm having my lunch between 12 and 1. And then I am always eating dinner around 5 or 6. Those are like the meal times that are very consistent in my day-to-day schedule. Before being with Tyler, it was definitely not like this. Tyler is very structured when it comes to his meal times because he's a fireman, and firemen eat at the exact same times every single day. They're very, very like structured and anal about that. So for me, I've really had to adopt that. When I was living on my own though, I remember I was having breakfast in the morning, then I wasn't eating lunch until like 2 or 3, and then I was having dinner at like 7. My family eats dinner at like 9 o'clock, like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, sometimes even later than that, which is crazy. But what I have noticed is that the earlier that I eat, the easier I'm able to go to sleep because my body is not up trying to digest things. I try not to eat anything close to bedtime. Sometimes Ty and I will snack on something. Like last night, we do have these chocolate covered bananas with peanut butter, and we've been kind of loving those. So we'll do that. I will have snacks like here and there. We'll have desserts here and there, but I am pretty intentional on most nights not to have things like that. And if I do crave like something sweet or dessert, then I'll try my best to go for like grapes. I love sweets though, so I'm just being cautious, but I'm not limiting myself. I'm not telling myself no every single time. Like there are times where I give in and I just like have the snack because YOLO and I want it and whatever, but I do try my best to be pretty intentional. And also because Ty is sleeping with me some nights and then he's not sleeping with me on other nights because he's a fireman, he's at the fire station. So the nights that he's not here, I'm probably more intentional just because I'm doing it on my own, so it's easier for me not to give into like cravings. But like if I tell Ty that I want something sweet, like he's gonna be like, let's go get something sweet, or like let's go get a snack or whatever. So yeah, for me, I'm just I try my best to be as intentional as I can about literally everything in my life, but specifically when it comes to like my energy levels, my sleep, all of those things. That's kind of what the routine looks like. So in the mornings, I have my breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then after that, Aria is now going to sleep at like 8 p.m. She was going to sleep at 7. Now she's going to sleep at 8. So we have a little bit more time with her. So we usually will just like play, we'll color, we'll do something together, we'll read books, we'll watch something or whatever. And then after she goes to sleep by 8 o'clock, I typically will do something intentional for myself. So by 8 o'clock, I'm either going in the sauna, I'm reading, I'm maybe watching something if I want to. Like I love my comfort shows. I watch Gilmore Girls. That's my personal fave. And I just will take some time for myself. I really do try my best though not to watch anything close to bedtime either. Like I at least give myself 30 minutes before bed of not watching anything because I like to just allow my brain to kind of slowly turn off. My favorite way of going to sleep right now is definitely through reading or journaling before bed. I also will always do a meditation or a sleep hypnosis. So for the last 30 days, I've been doing sleep hypnosises because I actually had a hypnotherapy session done on me in person in Vegas, and it was really, really cool. Hypnotherapy's always really like interested me. I've always done hypnosises on YouTube. So I decided to go to a hypnotherapist, and then she actually gave me a hypnosis to do every single night for the next month. So it's officially been a month, but I'm still doing sleep hypnosises just because I do feel like it helps me with just reprogramming my mind. I am very into reprogramming my subconscious mind. I really haven't talked about this too much on this, but I love like reprogramming my brain, and this is something that I am constantly doing. I've done this for years now. I don't share about it enough except for like in my programs, like in Tranquil Minds, I'm always sharing different hypnosises that I'm doing and different subconscious reprogrammings that I'm doing and affirmations and all the things. And then of course in like my group programs or my one-to-one programs, I'm always sending my girls all of my resources and things, but I haven't really talked about it on the podcast. I don't know how it hasn't come up, but I do really love to do sleep reprogramming. So what I will do is I will play something on YouTube and I will either fall asleep to it or I will do it right before I go to sleep. So the hypnosis that I was doing was personalized for me and my journey. The girl that I got it from, her name is Jamie Dean. She's in Vegas. She's absolutely amazing. She does things virtually and then she also does things in person. So she's phenomenal. Love her so much. And then as for my own, like I have a couple different channels that I listen to sleep hypnosises on YouTube. If you want one, please go ahead and message me and I will send you like different ones that I listen to. I personally think that it's such a great way to reprogram your mind to wealth, success, abundance, productivity, worthiness, acceptance, and just so many different things that are not typically given to us that we kind of have to give to ourselves because we grow up in households that typically don't do that. I mean, some households do, but a lot of households are just not very aware of these things. That's totally fine, but I'm very intentional about these things, and I'm really trying to give myself everything that I can in this lifetime to feel completely whole, to feel completely worthy, to feel completely abundant, successful, fulfilled, passion-filled, all of those things. Honestly, like as I think about it, I really would say that a big part of the way that I feel every single day is from doing things like this, where I'm journaling and I'm intentionally getting myself into a space of feeling good. I really prioritize that so much. Like I prioritize meditation over everything. I'm journaling almost every single day. Like I'm very intentional about my thoughts and the way that I feel on a daily basis, and checking in with myself, being very aware, not allowing myself to get caught up in different emotional like waves or whatever. I do allow myself to feel them, but I don't allow myself to get caught up in tornadoes of them. So I'm very intentional. I feel like I've said that word fucking 50 times in this video. Someone can make like a compilation of all of the times that I've said intentional, but you know, it's how I live my life. And I feel like it really does make such a big difference, and it really does help me with my energy levels. So yeah, that's kind of what my nighttime routine looks like. My morning routine, on the other hand, I'm always waking up around 6 a.m. I go to sleep at 8:30 or 9. Recently, it's been about 9 or 9:30 just because Aria's been staying up a little bit later. So I'm always asleep by 9, 9:30, and then I'm always up by 6 o'clock in the morning. And waking up at 6 just gives me an actual like full hour for me to just have some time and space for myself. Aria has been waking up a little bit early recently. She's been waking up at 6 recently. So I've been having her like take some time to go play or to watch Frozen because that's her fave, and then give me my space to do a meditation and do some journaling, because I truly need that. Like that is where I feel the best, and I'm setting myself up for success for the day. So I'm very intentional about taking that time, and I do make sure that she has independent playtime or that she's occupied. And I know that there's tons of moms that like they feel like they can't get away from their kids or whatever. I understand that 100%. This is something that like I've been very like I've been very intentional about from the jump, and I feel like she knows that that's the time and that's the space that I need, and it's what allows me to show up as the best mother possible, the best partner possible, and it really does reprogram my body to be feeling into those feelings of gratitude, fulfillment, happiness, all of the things, appreciation. And then I'm constantly kind of taking moments throughout the day to also feel into those things. So while I'm in the car, like feeling into gratitude, feeling into appreciation, fulfillment, all of the things that I just now listed, really being intentional with that and like feeling that in my heart and in my soul, in my body, and knowing what that feels like. And then every single time that I'm taking a moment where like I feel the sun on my skin, like I will also do that. I constantly am checking in with myself, and I've reprogrammed my brain to think this way. Before this, I was never this intentional. I was never this aware. I was never this connected, and now I am very, very connected because I have done everything possible to get myself to that place. And I feel like because of the connectedness that I have, I'm really tapped into love and light, and I just can bring a lot of energy into other people's lives because I am filled and I am overflowing with great energy. So I hope that makes sense, but that's kind of the gist of like what my mornings and what my nighttimes look like. And then I have a lot of consistency in my schedules. I talked about this last week, like every single morning once it hits 8 a.m., like we are in the gym. After that, I'm either taking Aria to daycare or we're coming home or making breakfast. And every day does look a little bit different, but also very similar. Like I do have structured things in my schedule all the time because that's what makes me feel my best. Is what makes me feel like I'm most filled, I'm most productive, I feel most energized. Like those things I'm just very intentional about. So yeah, that would be kind of what my schedule looks like and how I start to optimize my energy. I also forgot to mention I do put my phone on sleep mode at 8:30. So at 8:30 my phone goes into sleep mode. I also have night shift turned on as well, so I don't really get as much blue light. I literally was watching a show with Ty the other night at like 8:30, and I was like, dude, the TV is so bright. I wish that we had a way to like turn it on night mode so that it wasn't so bright, like just to turn down the brightness, like turn on night shift so that it blocks out all the blues and it puts like orange all over your screen. That's what my phone does. So at like 8:30, or actually at 8. Once sun is down, it goes into night shift. And I just feel like I'm trying to be better about those things. I've heard so many different studies about like bright lights at night are not supportive for us, and like they're not good. They can disrupt our sleep. There's a lot of things that can disrupt your sleep. Your sleep is actually one of the most important things to live a healthy life, to have more energy, and all of the things that we've been talking about throughout this. Also, a very honorable mention is my Aura ring. So if you're on the YouTube version right now, I have an Aura ring, and you can see it if you're on YouTube watching this. I have an Aura ring. It is so amazing. I wanted it for a really long time. I finally decided to invest into it in November of last year as like an early Christmas gift to myself, and I'm so happy that I did. So this little baby, it tracks your sleep levels, it tracks your resilience, it tracks your stress, it tracks your flow, it tracks your blood pressure, it tracks your temperature, it tracks all of your movement, your stressors, it tracks everything. And I really, really love this guy because it also lets me know like if I'm pushing myself too hard, to kind of take it down a notch, to slow down a little bit, to not go overboard. It tells me that I should probably take some time to rest today. It will tell me to maybe take some time to stretch because my body's not recovering well. It just allows me to connect a little bit more with my body, and I really appreciate that. I think that this is probably one of the best investments that I've ever made. I think that it was about $300 to $400. I think it was $300 and then like $400 total, like $380 with the membership. You either pay for the membership up front, it's like a $5 fee every single month or something like that, or you can pay for it up front, and I paid for it up front for like a full year. So yeah, I really, really love the Aura ring. I think that it's been very, very helpful for me to just be more connected with myself. I also love that it helps me connect with like what's actually causing me stress, because for the longest time I would have people ask me like, oh, are you stressed? Like, do you have any stress in your life? Or like, I have eczema. I have a little bit of eczema on my hands, and I would always wonder like, is my eczema correlated to my stress? Or if I had like acne breakouts, I'd wonder, okay, does my acne like correlate with my stress? I'd always had people asking me like, oh, is it stress? And I always feel as if I'm not a very stressed out person, but I think that's just because I manage stress well, and like I have so many tools that I go to, like reading and journaling and meditating and breath work and all these different things that help me with my stress. But I really wanted to see like what was causing me stress. And it's really cool because on the app, on the Aura app, it will tell me like, oh, like this caused you stress. And I will notice like, oh, it's right when I invited someone over for dinner and then all of a sudden my stress levels spiked, or I was cooking dinner, or I was trying to get Aria to get in the bath and she wasn't getting in the bath. That stressed me out. Like, I will start to notice what's actually bringing me stress versus what's keeping me calm and what's restoring me. And it tells you like what's restorative and how much restorative time that you've had throughout the day and things like that too. So I just think that overall it's really, really helpful. I do love it so much. I'm super happy that I invested into it. I really want to invest into one for Ty as well, just to like treat him, because I think that that would be really, really cool for him to track too. But yeah, I think that it's really, really helpful. I also will say, just as a woman, like I noticed that my energy levels shift and change a lot throughout the month. Like there are certain days of the month that I know that I am not in the best headspace. Like I just know that. I know that days 19 through 21 of my cycle, I'm not in the best headspace. I know that I have a little bit more of like mellow moods. I'm not as like confident. I'm just a little bit more inwards, and that's just how my energy levels fall around that time of the month. So what I started to do is, because I started to notice this pattern that there was certain days of the month that I wouldn't feel like myself, I started to actually track every single day what my moods were. And this really helped me. Like I just basically for like 4 cycles or so, like for like 4 months basically, I took track of the days that I was feeling really, really high or really, really low, the days that I felt very productive, the days that I felt a little bit more like I needed some more rest. Like I just started to track those things, and it really helped me get connected with myself so that I know like it's not an external thing, it's just how I'm feeling, and it's okay to feel that. I think that that's also a huge part of this conversation, is like it is okay to not feel 100% all the time. It is okay to take some time to rest. It is okay to recharge. It is okay to take time to just watch a Disney movie on the couch. Like it is okay. And I think that I've had to really like work so hard on this, because I am just somebody who's constantly go, go, go. I'm always moving, and I've really had to anchor myself into knowing that like rest is not a bad thing. Rest is something that actually my body needs and thrives so much more when I give it rest. So I've really gotten out of that space of like bullying myself for taking time for me, because in the past I was like, do not rest. Like if you're watching a movie, you're wasting your time. Like you should be working, you should be growing your business, whatever. And it was just this unhealthy relationship that I had with business, entrepreneurship, like hustle mentality, all of the things. So I really do operate my life in a very different way now. I do take a lot more time to just like rest, recover, recharge, refill my cup, and really prioritize my own well-being, because I know that if I am feeling my best, I'm going to do everything my best. I will be the most productive version of myself. I'm going to show up my best, like all of the things. I will be so much better when I am filled and my energy is in a good space. So that is really my only intention out of life, is just to be intentional, because it does make such a big difference. And I feel so much better when I am intentional and not just allowing like my emotions to run the show or how I'm feeling to run the show, and just leaning more into how can I make myself feel better, and how can I energize myself, how can I pour into me, and all of the things. So I hope that this was helpful, and I'm so grateful to Michael for requesting this episode. If anyone has any episodes that you guys would like to request, please send me a message and let me know. I'm so grateful that you guys have been loving the podcast recently. I've been feeling so loved, and just like I'm actually making a difference in your guys' lives, and that makes me very grateful. So I'm sending you guys all the love in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next Monday. Bye.